Hey guys, thanks for joining me for the next 10 days on forgiveness. I think it's really important. I've worked with many women over the past 10 years, and forgiveness is something that comes up. And there's a lot of misconceptions. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tamera. I am the founder of J&T Marriage with my husband. So I guess I'd be the co-founder. We are super casual, very laid back. We've had a lot of restoration in our lives, and we want to teach other people to do the same thing. So for the next 10 days, we're going to talk about forgiveness, and I'll go ahead and get started. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Okay. So let's see here. Let me go back a few slides. I don't know if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. So again, like I mentioned, it's the 10 days of forgiveness. And basically it's so you can free yourself, so you walk in peace, because that's what we're actually created. We are created to walk in peace. And it feels really good to walk in peace, especially because people are going to hurt us. We're going to hurt ourselves. We're going to hurt other people. So the more that we can practice forgiveness, I think the better off and the less pain we actually feel from other people, because we realize that we're all human, we're all making mistakes, we're all offending each other, and it's a part of the human existence. So for today, again, we're going to talk about what is forgiveness, some misconceptions, and I have an activity of affirmations and some questions for you to answer. So one of the big things, and you'll have to apologize, I am going to be reading because I don't want to miss anything. I'm still very uncomfortable on camera, and it's more important that I give you the information than what I look like on camera or me thinking about myself. So please forgive me if I'm not staring at the camera and I'm looking down at my phone. So if you've ever struggled to forgive anyone, you're definitely not alone. Like I said, I've worked with so many women that this is so common for them. It's their past, themselves, other people, which is why I wanted to cover in my itinerary all the different areas. And if there's something you can think of, please let me know, because I will be glad to add it. I think there's a lot of fundamental and foundations of forgiveness, and it can be applied in anywhere. So most of us don't really know what forgiveness is, much less how to do it. So if you were to Google what forgiveness is, you would find that it pops up. It says it's a verb, and it means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. So it's an action. Actions stem from feelings. Feelings come from thoughts. It's rarely to do with a circumstance. I mean, that circumstance is painful in the moment, especially, but it's when we keep thinking about it, we keep really reliving it, or think that it shouldn't have been that way. Those are what's really causing us pain. And so that's what I want to help you free. We can't erase the past. That's just something that we can't do. And that's something I tried to do. I would always think it should have been different, or if only it happened this way, but we can never erase the past. So I want to offer you that forgiveness is a choice as well. So on here, you'll see it's a thought, a feeling, an action, and a daily practice. It's a choice to forgive someone. It's a thought you think and a commitment that you make to move forward, even when there's confusion. A lot of you might know my story, but I come from a very traumatic past and background, especially as a child, and a lot of things that happened to me as a child they haunted me. I would live my life according to that identity of someone who was an abused child and in victim mentality. And please know, when I say that word, I use it very lightly, because sometimes we do identify as a victim, and sometimes we were victimized. So, but I refuse to keep living in that and keeping a survivor. I wanted to be a thriver. So it was a lot of mindset work that I had to do personally. So forgiveness is not a one-time event. It's, again, a decision you make daily. It doesn't prevent the memory from coming up again. This is something that I really had to work on with my husband when it came to trauma from my childhood. There would be, I was sexually abused as a child, and so that got in the way of my marriage. And every time an action happened in my marriage, that memory, that pain would come up. So it doesn't relieve it from coming up, but when it comes up, we're allowed to deal with it in the moment and remember that, like, something I would constantly practice to myself is that I'm safe, I'm in a loving relationship. So those were ways that I dealt with it, but it didn't prevent the memory from coming back up. So for me, again, it's a moment by moment of trading hostility and blame, which I have a lot of, for understanding and compassion. And it's like, how could you have compassion for somebody that molested a child? Well, I do, and it's freed me. Maybe not them, but it's freed me. And that's the more important thing, because forgiveness is for me. So I want to share a couple of misconceptions. So a lot of people say that it makes you weak if you forgive, but honestly, forgiveness has made me more powerful than I can ever understand or comprehend, in so many ways, that I get to share this with you, because now I'm here with you teaching you forgiveness, because I've had to walk through it myself in so many different ways. So another one is that I can get hurt again and I need to protect myself. There are boundaries, and a lot of people don't know how to set really good boundaries because they've learned boundaries wrong. And I'll be sure to cover that in the next 10 days, because boundaries are for me. They're how I'm going to behave, not how I want somebody else to behave. So I don't need to protect myself from them. I get to decide ahead of time how I'm going to react, because I want to show up as the person that I want to be in my life. Which is something that we go over tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited for that as well. A lot of people think that it's a way of punishing, like we need to let somebody feel our anger or feel our resentment towards them. Or, another big one is that we've excused the offense. We've like let it off the hook, and really we haven't. So forgiving means that you haven't excused the offense. It doesn't mean that you've excused the offense. You have offense. Did I say offense? You have let someone take responsibility for their own actions and not put that blame or anything on you. So that's a huge difference between excusing and making it permissible, because there's a lot of things that would happen that are not permissible. They've crossed the boundary, and maybe we didn't know how to deal with it then. So what happened, and now we need to let them take responsibility, and some people won't, and that's not up to you. So that's a hard thing to learn. What we misunderstand is that forgiving has nothing to do with the other person. So that's huge when it comes to forgiveness, because I always hear people say, well, you don't understand. I can't forgive them for this because and it's like, well, it's for you. It's for you to free yourself. Because holding on to that kind of resentment and that kind of pain is what is causing us more pain. So you have to ask yourself, if you're holding on to a grudge, who is suffering? And we just went through that. The person that's suffering is you. So if something in your past is keeping you in an emotional prison, definitely know that there's a way out. And that's what I'm going to focus on the next 10 days. You already have everything you need to break free from the cycle of resentment and like hatred and anger. You just have to know how to put the key in the door and walk out of that door. The way it was explained to me in church, like, oh gosh, it was probably like 6 years ago. I loved it. It was like the person that is in the prison, like you're the one that's in the prison because you're the one that's having all this pain. Sometimes the people that we are upset with, they have no idea. And I know that from just knowing that people have been mad at me, and I had no idea that they were mad at me. So they're holding all this resentment and anger and frustration with me. And here I am just like whistling through my day because I had no idea. So I couldn't feel their pain. I couldn't feel their anger. Only they could. So this just proved to me that when you don't forgive someone, it's you that's getting the short end of the stick and not them. So learning to think differently about the past is the only way to change it. Like I said, we can't change our past, but we can learn to think differently about it. So over the next few days, we're going to go over what that looks like. But today I have an affirmation for you as well as a question for you to answer. And I'll put this in a worksheet so that way you can have and you can keep track of. It'll send you an email automatically once you fill out the digital worksheet. So the affirmation today is, today I rest knowing it's okay to extend forgiveness and still experience pain. And this is huge because forgiveness doesn't mean you don't experience the pain. Like I said, it doesn't prevent the memory from coming up. It just, it gives you an opportunity to deal with your emotional hurt is what it does. And that's really where the power is, because we don't need that person to change. We don't need our past to change. We don't need anything to change because we have it within us to move forward, even when we don't quite understand it. So today I rest knowing it's okay to extend forgiveness and still experience pain. And I acknowledge the hurt and disappointment and still choose to forgive. Now, you might not believe that. You might think there's no way I can get there, but it's all about practicing new thoughts. Like, is it possible that you could experience forgiveness or extending forgiveness and still feel the pain? Just, is that a possibility rather than there's no way I'm going to be able to do it? So it's kind of bridging that thought from, instead of going, yeah, I totally forgive them, or I forgive myself, or I forgive my past, or whatever it is, you kind of bridge your way to it. That, what if that's an option? What if I'm able to experience forgiveness and still experience pain, but it's a stepping stone forward? So with the digital worksheet, I'll go ahead and ask the question here just so you can be prepared for it. So I believe that you're here in this group because you want to know more about forgiving, or else you would have no interest. I mean, I invited quite a few different people, and I take no offense that people weren't interested. They're not ready, and that's okay. But for you that are ready, I want to teach you what I know about it. And if this is something I've been practicing for years, so there may be something that you don't quite understand what I said, please ask me, because I want to make sure I'm explaining it in a way that you can comprehend it. So again, there's something in you that wants to move forward. That is why you're here. So what ways has unforgiveness cost you? So what does it cost you in your life? Has it cost you missing out on a relationship with somebody? Has it cost you not wanting to move forward with your life? Has it cost you relationships, pain? Like, what has it cost you? Just think about that. And in what ways has that kept you stuck? I know I felt stuck for many, many years because I couldn't forgive myself. There was a lot of things that I had done, especially to my ex-husband, that I felt like I couldn't move forward. It became my identity. I'm just this person, or whatever story I would tell myself. But none of that's true. I realized that all of those were thoughts I was having about myself, and I could change my thoughts at any time, which we'll definitely go through when we're talking about forgiving yourself. But just think about those questions. And if you have any questions for me, please let me know. Again, I really appreciate you being on here with me, and I hope you listen at your leisure and we can just really get to know each other more. I know that this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, especially because it involves pain. So if you don't want to post in the group, but you want to personally message me if you're feeling stuck, please do. Like, that's what I'm here for. I'm dedicating these 10 days because I really want to help you to move forward. I feel like, as I had posted this group, I felt like God put it on my plate to do, and I wanted to be obedient. There's no strings attached. I just really want to help people to move forward and walk out freedom so they can have peace in their life. So thanks again. I hope that you got something out of this, and I'm excited to move forward with you. Have a good day. Bye.